Today, introducing the host of the show for the first time. Her name is Miss. Is it Miss or Mrs.?
Miss.
Okay, Miss Ingrid McGregor. I am the co-host. My name is Ifa Bimero, and we would like to begin the show today by reading an Udu Ifa from Okara Irite. The Udu reads, the essay Ifa, sorry. Okara Nate cast the Igungun tree. Cast for the Igungun tree. Who was instructed to sacrifice? The Igungun tree refused to sacrifice, saying that he was too big to need support from other trees. The Eba was 16 pigeons and some money so that it would not fall and will have other trees to support it. All right, that is the essay Ifa that was read for today. So,
Absolutely.
this is the Herbal Show, and I'm introducing the host, Ingrid McGregor, and I'm going to let her be the one to sort of take us through the entire show this afternoon. I would more or less just fill in whenever she requires me to do so. So, Ingrid, the show is all yours. Go ahead.
Good evening. It is my pleasure to be live with you this evening. My name is Ingrid McGregor, and I am an Afro-Creole naturopath and graduate doctor of naturopathy and traditional medicine system. I am currently located on the Franco-Dutch island of St. Martin in the Caribbean, and I am here to share some tips with you about starting or empowering your healing journey, as
Yeah,
well as to help you.
you are going very fast. I am having great problems comprehending you on this other part of the Caribbean. So, if you can, I would like you to start over and speak a little bit slower for me.
Oh, okay, my bad. My name is Ingrid McGregor. I am an Afro-Creole naturopath, a graduate doctor of naturopathy and traditional medicine systems, and I am currently located on the Franco-Dutch island of St. Martin in the Caribbean. I am here to share some tips with you about starting or empowering your healing journey, as well as to help you look at your own life with greater holistic approach. On my personal journey, despite formal studies, I have learned much floral tradition, as well as my own experience of dealing with chronic health complication and holistic healing. With that in mind, I am excited to be able to share some of this heritage with you on how a holistic lifestyle can transform lives in miraculous ways. So this is going to be about nutrition, complementary therapies, plants, natural heritage, emotional wellness, and how our mind and body are fully connected. Our mind is where we can put all fear and doubts behind us and awaken our souls to be the best version of ourselves. If we change the way we think, we can change the way we heal. This being said, the Creole diaspora is represented by several ethnic groups located in the Caribbean, in the United States, in Europe, in the Latin America. So therefore, what we are going to share together may have different variation according to where you are located or according to, the heritage you have received, whatever you might learn from your elders and the herbs you have used. Okay, this being said, we are separated by the sea, but we remain one in culture. So
Okay,
I'll be
yeah,
sharing.
I would like to ask a question based on what you just said. Is there any
Oh,
real difference between the practice of your profession from one continent to another, or is it basically the same practice?
It is not the same practice according to where you are located, because whatever may grow here in the Caribbean or in Europe or another country, it's not going to be the same. All right. So usually we try to use the herbs that are closest to us, closest to the country, the island where we are from, because those are the plants that work better for our body. Okay, and in terms of therapies, everybody comes with a different heritage. What the elders used to do here might be different from what elders were doing somewhere else.
Okay, but then now in relation to that, so are you saying that different people have different genetic dispositions as a result of which they are affected differently by herbal medicine?
Definitely. If we if you look at, for example, Indian medicine, in the path of natural healing, we treat people according to their body type, or we treat people according to their blood type. Okay, so one herb working for one person may actually be a catastrophe for somebody else and create greater imbalances. So it is inaccurate, for example, to think that garlic is good for everything for everyone. It might be great for certain type of people, but then it might be a competition to somebody else balance.
Okay, so all right, there's another thing that you also mentioned. You mentioned that different parts of the world you would have different herbs, different vegetation, right? Different plants. Now, are there plants that could be found everywhere that are the same or that are in some way similar as far as their makeup is concerned or the chemistry or are some plants basically related to each other that grows in different places?
You said it very well. Some plants will be related to each other. So a plant that you may not be able to find in your specific location, you'll be able to find a substitute that might be related to the original plant in the remedy, or you may find a plant that is close in biochemical constitution.
Okay. Um, Now, is there a way, for example, um, if I was to travel from Trinidad, where I am, and I was to come to where you are in St. Martin, right? And I know of a particular plant, like we say the plant is called Malome in Trinidad. Is there, and I come to you and I say, well, you know what? I need some Malome to drink because my belly hitting me,
Mhm.
right? You may look at me and say, Malome? What is that? And I would say, but you know, it's the plant I might describe it to you, and you still will be lost because you're not familiar with the name Malome. Is there any way that it is possible that people would be able to identify plants, whether it's through pictures, whether it's through a particular name, whether it's what is there that would allow a person to be able to cross-reference a plant? Is there any scientific method? Is it that you had to look at a picture? How is this really done?
On the daily life, we are going to rely on pictures, description, and the cultural uses of a plant. That's on the daily life. Now, for those who are putting together, who are crafting herbal remedies, now we are going to look at the chemical makeup of the plant so that we would know what we can use to replace what we can't find.
Okay, so now I'm curious now to ask a question, and this is directly maybe concerning your particular experience. Traditional uses of plants tend to vary from country to country, right? And a
Mm.
lot of the traditional healers may have an extensive knowledge of the plants in their locality, right? But for a person like you or myself who is in the field of herbology, um, how do we go about trying to understand the unique properties of particular plants? I mean, is it that we have to like spend time with a traditional healer and then they would show us what they use, what grow in their locality? Or is it a part of your overall training that you are given certain information that you would be able to apply to be able to identify and know how to use plants medicinally?
I'm going to use my personal experience. You could spend many years studying plants in a formal institution, graduate with a title, and still have to go back and learn almost everything from scratch because what you may learn from a specific institution may not correspond to your body type, may not correspond to your blood type, may not correspond to the herbs that you have around you. So nowadays you find many people who are quote unquote healers, herbalists, or whatsoever you name it, but then they can only function, for example, with supplement that they buy online, or they are manufactured by other people, or they use capsules. But if they have to go and identify the plant by themselves, they may have the knowledge. But if you send them to a field to acknowledge a plant, then they are not able to do it. Why? Because the plants that we have around us may not be the plant that were part of the curriculum that was taught in their institution. So for us who are Creoles, our tradition was always oral. We always spent a lot of time with elders. Elders doesn't mean somebody who is necessarily very old, but somebody who have a greater experience. So a formal education or learning online on the books may never be enough. You always have to take the time to go and learn what's around us and to learn from those who have worked before us.
Okay. So therefore apprenticeship is a necessary part of the process.
It is necessary, yes.
All right. So let's go a little more into it, right? I mean, I was just trying to verify stuff like about where herbs is from and how do you actually have the knowledge. But let's talk a little bit about herbs and the role that tradition and heritage play in the use of herbal medicine. We could talk about other traditional remedies after, but for now, we want to focus a little bit on herbs. Um, let's talk about chronic herbs in relation to chronic conditions. Um, in the region, we have a very high occurrence of diseases such as diabetes, right? These type of conditions tend to be like what is the medical term they use to describe it? These are conditions that more or less affect the quality of your life, and it's something
Definitely.
that is very common in the region. So, for example, if I were a diabetic and I came to you and I said, "Listen, I have problems with frequent urination. I have a hungry every minute, and some of the symptoms that are associated to diabetes. You as a herbalist, what and I come to you and I tell you I have these problems. What is the next step from there? What would you do for a person like me if I came and I told you those were my conditions?
We would have to sit down and take, a proper screening at the body type as per the constitution of your body and also the blood type to identify the best herbs for your specific type, to understand also the cause of your diabetes. So, we would not just treat diabetes because it is diabetes. We have to look at what you eat, how you eat, okay, and rearrange everything according to your specific blood type and body constitution. So
Okay, so
what the plants that most likely would work for you may not work for me because we do not have the same genotype. We do not have the same, it's not even a matter of DNA, but we are not balanced the same in terms of the element in our bodies.
All right. So then you're saying that basically a treatment is sort of tailor made and is designed for a particular individual. There is no general diabetes treatment that you use.
No, that's the reason you go to a naturopath. For the general treatment, you can go to a regular allopathic doctor. But when you go to an herbalist, when you go to a naturopath, it's because you need a solution that is tailored to your specific needs.
All right. Okay. So now, when the more you talk is the more I have questions. So you want to forgive me for having these questions. Now, you're using the term naturopath. Now, that seemed to me, it sounds like that is something distinct from a herbalist because it seemed
Yes.
that herbalists use herbs. So, I mean, what is the arsenal? What is the tools that is used by a naturopath?
The naturopath is going to use herbs as well, but a naturopath does not only work with herbs. The naturopath also work with complementary medicines. So all of those therapies that our ancestors used to use to heal themselves in terms of traditional healing, that we use those as well. So there's a lot of work with energy medicine, also with massage therapy, the holistic touch. We use a lot of steam medicine,
Well,
hydrotherapy.
all right. All right. That
So
sounds very interesting.
it's not just the plants, it's the plant and the therapies.
Oh, so all right. So let's talk a little bit about some other terms that I've heard. I've heard people talk about complementary medicine, right? And that being a combination of both modern medicine and traditional medicine. Tell us a little bit
Mhm.
about how that works or what it really is, etc., etc.
According to where we are located in the world, natural medicine may not be recognized as a healing protocol. So therefore, we usually would use like me, I'm located in a French territory. So we would use the term complementary, meaning that legally we will not have the right to tell somebody to only use our protocols and not whatever might be prescribed by their physician. Okay, it is up to whatever we recommend to people is supposed to be in complement to what they are taking already. So for example, in my approach, we use a balance. So as we move forward in the treatment plan, then we can increase more of the natural supplement as we rebalance the diet and the lifestyle so that we could use less and less of those other medications until it is not needed anymore.
Okay, so then now with what you say now, I had two questions. The
Yeah.
first question is based on what you're saying. In other words, we don't tell a person come off your medication and just use this what I'm giving you.
If you have a good lawyer, you can.
I like how you put it. All right. And beside that, the other thing that you mentioned is things like diet and exercise and you mentioned a few things there. So what I would really like to know is what you're advocating in order for a person to get better is basically a change in lifestyle.
Definitely. To live closer to nature, to step away from manufactured food, to spend some time focusing on our own natural balance, to slow down.
So I mean, well, now I have a next question, right? So forgive me. So how much patience that you have dealt with really have the discipline? Because I myself, I'm a herbalist. I'm not a naturopath. I'm a herbalist. Although I just use a couple of other modalities too together with the herbs. But how successful are you in getting people to actually change their lifestyles?
This is where, to be honest, this can be a challenge. Often people come and they want magic result and they want a quick fix. And sometimes we provide them with a quick fix. But As long as they go back to their regular lifestyle, then they are back again. Now, according to what's the person mindset, they could become discouraged because we have become so accustomed in a quick fix. Everything is this microwave society. We just want to pop a pill or pop a bush tea and be healed. But that's not how, this is not how a natural body function. So indeed, whenever people come to me, the first thing I preach is discipline because what you might like to eat may not like you in return. So it's just
All right. Well, to me, my experience has been that most clients, yes, as you pointed out, everybody likes a quick fix. You have pain, you want the pain go away one time. You don't want to have no pain lingering for months and months and months. They say, listen, it's best I go by my doctor, he will give me a painkiller and this pain will go away. You want me to come here and take this bush medicine and it's working slow, 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 slow. I don't have time for that. Right now, what I generally would tell patients like that is this. First and foremost, your condition didn't happen
Mhm.
quick.
True.
It happened over a period of time. Whether it's bad eating, bad gesture, being in a toxic environment, um, being stressed out all the time, whatever it is, it did not happen overnight. It took a long period
True.
of time. So if you want to be treated, for you to recuperate, it is going to be a process that is going to take time. That is the first thing I just tell you. The second thing I just try to get into with patients is this. If you get a quick fix, most likely the problem hasn't
Mhm.
gone away.
That is true.
The symptoms, the headache, the pain, the fever, whatever, that may disappear, but the underlying condition still is there and it is going to get you. So the first thing I try to explain to them, doing things over time would actually remove the problem from the root. So it might be a slower process,
Accurate.
but it's absolutely worth the time.
Definitely.
Now, for me, I mean, I asked you concerning the lifestyle changes, and I think to me that's one of the greatest challenge with most people. Beside the quick fix, most people, if you tell them, listen, the sodium that you're using, the salt, you had to slow down on the salt, or yeah, you know what? This is one of the things I normally tell a lot of my clients. You had to cut out milk and cheese and things because these things mucus forming. They're like, what? No milk? So how I go drink my tea? No cheese? So I go eat macaroni pie. So normally the things people normally don't have the discipline. So sometimes, when they respond that way to you, I tell them, well, all right, you know what? You don't have to totally stop it, right? But if it's possible, try and avoid using it now. Try and limit the amount you're using. And then you can see a slight change on the bill. How you guys deal with that type of thing? Because I don't know.
It is like it takes a lot of empathy and a lot of patience. Usually, what would happen is that people would see results, and whenever we are trained to use the herbs properly, to blend them properly, because some herbs do not work well with others, the result come pretty quick as long as the people are disciplined. So that usually would occur within a few days, sometime maybe a week, 2 weeks, it depends. And then usually after 3 weeks, then people become comfortable. So therefore, they may be tempted or they may slide back into their old habits. They come back and they complain. Oh my God, I'm not feeling well anymore. So therefore, those are the time when usually after 2, 3 weeks, I try to just change the protocol all over to keep them motivated. So it's not the same thing all the time because then it becomes very complicated. So it's a matter of always keeping the person excited about the transformation so that they could keep on witnessing and experiencing, the different result with the herbs.
All right. Well, I think also too one of the factors is that if you're giving a person a herb, I think your body does build a resistance to anything that is foreign. over a period of time. So it is also wise after 2 weeks to change up the combination of herbs that you're giving to a patient because of that fact. But all right, I mean, we covered quite a bit for the first show, but I still have a
Mhm.
few more things I may want to talk about a little bit because we talk about herbs, we talk about lifestyle changes, diet, exercise. But I want to ask in particular about this issue of fasting because this
Sure.
is something um, that a lot of people talk about, but somehow I don't think it's something that people quite understand. So I would allow you now to talk a little bit on this whole thing of fasting.
Sure. There are several type of fasting, and a lot of people are very excited about fasting because they realize that number one, they drop a lot of weight pretty quick. And usually, the less mass you have on your body, the healthier you are because your organs have less work, moving the entire mass. So people get excited about fasting. However, all of us do not have the same state of health. And according to the lifestyle, whether you are too busy, whether you don't sleep enough, whether probably you smoke or you inhale a lot of smoke around you, maybe you are in a stressful environment, maybe you drink alcohol or a lot of coffee, then it is not wise for everybody to just go into a fast unaware. So I've been contacted by people in Guadeloupe, actually friends, who went on spiritual fast, and they fasted for 15 days, just water, and then they were sick. So the first few days they were okay. What they fasted for was, they got their breakthrough, and I was very happy for them. But then they were sick and they wonder, where did I go wrong? I read so many books. I went online. There was a moderator, and he told us we can do it. But the point is that everybody is not built to have this kind of resistance. So, for example, unless somebody is going to somebody have a strong faith and they are fasting for spiritual reason, then people should not take a dry fast and don't eat any type of food. All right, because this one there, it really takes like it's the domination of your mind over your body. Not everybody is built. Not everybody is built to manage this kind of experience. Flushing your body is an essential step into feeling better. So there are several ways of flushing your body. You could eat less, um, but eating throughout the whole day. So we would think about the juice fasting, or maybe using soup. The Indian use khichari, which is a blend of rice and beans. You could use herbal teas, okay, but you are using those throughout the entire day. And you can also use a fruit fast. You
Okay.
can also alternative fasting. Okay, so those are the when you diet during a window of time. So whether 16 hours you don't eat, and then
All
you
right.
eat only eight
You,
hours.
you just introduced another word there into the conversation, which is the word diet. So I would like you to tell us what is the difference between a diet
Mhm.
and fasting, because it's obvious that or at least from appearances, they don't seem to be the same thing, or else we'd have been using the same word to describe them.
They are not the same. A diet is restricting your body from using certain food so that you could lose weight or maybe improve your health. Okay? But the first aim of a diet is to lose weight, whereas a fast is targeting the restoration of the body. So it's targeting to bring a balance. So the focus is not necessarily to lose weight, it is a matter of allowing the body to get rid of all what is unnecessary in its own time. The problem is that everybody wants to do things very fast. So sometimes we tend to really go to the extreme in the different fasting plans just to get greater result and faster result. But it's not always wise if you do not have somebody who is knowledgeable of your state of health at the beginning of the fast. Okay, and who can advise you on the food to eat or what to abstain from.
Okay. So, from what you described, it seemed like in most instances a diet might in fact be a lifestyle modification and it could be permanent also.
It should be permanent. A diet, well, I usually do not speak much about diet. I usually speak about lifestyle transformation and use the word diet to refer to what we choose to eat, what we select to eat, what's best for this particular person and their body type. Okay, but it's true that the common use of the word diet is losing weight.
All right. So, would you say that diet goes with nutrition, whereas fasting goes with not using food
I would say the
or
diet
limiting
goes
your
with
intake
nutrition.
of food?
Voilà. So sorry, my French is always coming back. Okay, so yes, diet definitely goes hand in hand with nutrition, whereas fasting is definitely targeting limiting the amount of food.
Okay. All right. Herb and heritage. Let's talk a little bit about that and tradition because in the years that I've been doing herbs, I've discovered that various cultures have their own usage and then they also have their own variety of plants that they use. Um, in most instances, it originated with the locality in which they first occupied. But now that you have people traveling all over the world, you will have herbalists who follow a particular tradition that living in a different part of the world where the herbs are not available to them. Um,
Yes.
Talk a little bit about the different continents, their tradition and their heritage, and the different systems of herbology that they use. Although I believe herbology is one, but the pharmacopoeia, that is the fancy word we use when I was in pharmacy school. That's what we get. But all that really means is just the list of herbs or even animals or whatever source they use for medicine.
All right. So, for example, I was born in France from Creole and African parents. And in France, you find many therapists who are Ayurvedic practitioner. And so it's trendy and many people go to them. Uh, the only issue with those is that most of the products that they use is not sourced in France because those herbs in Indian medicine are usually not found in Europe.
All right.
Whereas
So
you might find them growing,
let me
go ahead.
interrupt you before you go further. So are you saying that what you are referring to as Ayurveda is traditional Indian medicine? Because I hear you use the word Ayurveda and then I come back and hear you use the word India.
It is, yes, it is
All
a
right.
traditional healing system of India. However, India has, in India as well as China, they have really leveled up with their traditional healing system. So whether it is functioning hand in hand with allopathic medicine.
Okay. So beside Ayurveda, which is the Indian traditional system, how many other systems you know of that exist that people in the diaspora might be exposed to?
Okay, in the diaspora, we also use um, the Creole remedies. Those Creole remedies, they are inherited um, by what our ancestors, the knowledge that our ancestors traveled from Africa, traveled with from Africa.
So therefore, they had certain ways of using certain plants. Some of those plants that grew in Africa also grow in the Caribbean, not all. And but the difference is that what we have here, it's not it's not labeled, it's not recognized as an official system like India or like China. So also here in the Caribbean, for example, we use a lot of traditional Chinese medicine. Although traditional Chinese medicine, because people seem to have uh, mixed feelings about whatever come from China, is not as prominent as Ayurveda, for example. But for me, who was trained with an Indian institution, uh, I've learned to use a lot of those herbs that we find also in the Caribbean. But the point is that I am dealing with a lot of Black clients. And in our system and our heritage, the percentage of Indian ancestry is minimal. So it's not that whatever we use in India cannot work for us, but we also have other herbs that work even better. So it's just a matter of learning what works with our body.
Okay, so you mentioned Africa, you mentioned India, you mentioned China. What about North America? What about the indigenous people like the Caribs and the American Indians? Is that now a part of creolized medicine too, or is it something that is dealt with separately?
I would say that I could at least speak for what's Arawak and Caribs. The Caribs and the Arawak, because they were in the Caribbean and because they were instinct pretty quick. There are still some Kalinago indigenous who live in different islands as well as in Guyana. Their practice was blend, was merged into what we inherited.
So then,
Okay?
Creole medicine is not exclusively African.
No, it's not exclusively African because we are a blend of different nations.
Well, I will tell you what my experience has been in Trinidad. Um, Trinidad has a very, very, very interesting combination of herbs, or what I just mentioned, pharmacopoeia. Because we have Indian herbs here that I use, we have Chinese herbs that I use, we have Spanish herbs that I use, we have African herbs that I use, we have Asian herbs that I use. So for me, and we use a lot of North American herbs also. And when I talk North American, I mean based on like the indigenous people, the American Indians, the Carib, the Arawaks. So I think being a herbalist in Trinidad allows you, especially if you do a lot of research, to be exposed to Indian pharmacopoeia, Ayurveda, the Chinese,
Mhm.
the African, the
Definitely.
Carib, the Spanish, because we were once ruled by Spain, right?
Yes.
So for me, I think a herbalist who comes from the Caribbean really, really, really has an opportunity to become familiar with most of the other herbs from all over the world that is used. How effective specific herbs are to specific conditions, considering genetic dispositions of people, is very complex as far as dealing with herbs and Trinidad is concerned. Because just how we use all the different pharmacopoeia, we have people also here that mixed up just the same way, like all the different herbs that we use.
Sure. Mhm.
So, you know, we dealing with people with a unique genetic disposition also. You might have a client who predominantly African.
Sure.
But if you sit with the client and you find out, they won't tell you, well, you know, my grandmother was from India and my grandfather was a Carib, or sometimes here we say Spanish, right? So it is a unique challenge, but at the same time, the challenge makes us sort of versatile, especially with Creole medicine. So Creole
Definitely.
medicine is not exclusively North America, but it's a
No,
blend of all the above. So
well, definitely.
so tell me, Doc, tell me, did you practice? Did you have a practice outside of the Caribbean also?
I do follow up a few customers who are located in France.
Okay, so you treat people from all over the world.
But we do virtual consultation. The internet allows us to work with people wherever they are located.
All right, okay. Well, I think that is fantastic. So tell me a little bit about your business. Tell me what you do, what products you have, what is your best seller, what conditions you treat more frequently than other conditions, things like that. Talk a little bit about yourself, your practice, your products, etc.
Okay, my business is Sankofa Holistic Alternative. Of course, I use the word Sankofa because this whole journey of designing this company was about starting a journey to go back to our ancestry, to go and seek all what we need from the ancestors and to be able to apply it in our daily life. So that's why it is named Sankofa Holistic Alternative. I work a lot with women who have difficulty conceiving. So women who have different imbalances and suffer from fibroids, cysts, all kind of pelvic pain, just name it. And I also work a lot with people who need to lose weight, not necessarily to lose weight because they want to look better, but to lose weight because they have other health condition. So in order to improve their health condition, then they need to lose weight. So I tend to like to work with those a whole lot better than those who want to lose weight just to, look good in their clothes. Those
All
are
right,
more disciplined.
all right. So you work quite a bit with women with fertility issues.
Definitely. I also work with teenagers in terms of emotional wellness and psychotherapy.
Oh, all right. So you're a head doctor too. You're not just into herbs and all these
You might
alternatives. You
sound
sound like you're a shrink. You use that long term psychotherapy. So that means you also counsel people and you get into all the problems and all that sort of stuff.
indeed, indeed,
All right. So
indeed.
tell us a little bit about that because from my experience, a lot of times, especially people who suffer diabetes, high blood pressure, there are certain conditions that ties in quite a bit to stress
Definitely.
because it doesn't matter how much herbs you give a person. If a person under stress, the blood
Mhm.
sugar is going to be high. If the person
Yes,
under stress, the blood pressure is going to be high if they are a hypertensive sufferer. So tell us a
yes.
little bit about the relationship between a person's mental condition and their physical health.
The body is made of different systems. Okay, the head being one. If one is imbalanced, so for example, it could be somebody who having issues in the kidney, because there is an imbalance in the kidney, it means that your body is targeting more of the energy to towards the kidney to work better to maintain a balance. It means that because more energy is directed to one particular system, another one usually is deprived. Usually it is the head, especially if we work in stressful environment or if we have too many responsibility, we become overwhelmed because we realize that we are not able to function as at our best potential. So it's always important to keep the mind balanced. Sometimes it is important to have some clarification, some orientation, and some guidance as to the various step of a protocol, for example, so that people could feel safe, could feel could trust the process and trust themselves to be able to make it.
Okay. All right. So you said the name of your business is Alkaline Lifestyle and Herbal Protocols by Sankofa Holistic Alternative.
That's the name of my Facebook group.
Oh, that's the name of your group.
Yes, of my Facebook group.
All
And
right.
as
Mhm.
your recommendation, I did review the name of that group to make it a little easier to be located on Facebook.
All right. Okay. So what is actually the name of your group on Facebook? You tell me.
Alkaline lifestyle and holistic Creole protocols.
All right, very well. So, tell us a little bit about that platform, what you plan to do with it, what is it, where people could view your products, is it where you discuss a lot of modalities of treatment? What do you actually do on your platform? Tell us, or what you plan to do with your platform in the future.
Okay, in this platform over the years, we spoke a lot about health and wellness issues, and we spoke a lot about products, various products. And then over the years, I realized that the various products that I was recommending were not necessarily representing my standards and my vision of holistic wellness. So therefore, for the past 18 months, I have, taken on the privilege, I would say, to develop medicines myself according to our own traditions. So therefore, it is as strong as I want it to be. So I know that people are going to get the result right away and not in a month time. And
Okay.
because I am also the one to blend according to the specific need, then also it allows my customers to know that they are not just spending money in fear of not getting a quick result. Whatever they get, they know that it is specific for them. So in this group, we speak a lot about the various blends. We speak about different therapies. We share jokes. We share people progress and testimonies. It's really like an informal platform where people who are this like-mindedness of a holistic lifestyle of eating as close to the ground as possible come together and we interact and sometimes other people are posting, not necessarily me. There is this is one group where there is a lot of empowerment, but I do not speak about spirituality per se in that group, in the sense that there are also a lot of French people in this group, and the France is very specific about spirituality. So we tend to create separate platform to speak about spiritual empowerment and whatever anything spiritual in specific platform. But usually I would share some information here where people may get a tip and want to know more, and then they follow a different page.
All right. Well, we have roughly 8 minutes before we close the program down. So I guess this is the time where you get to give all the platforms, tell people to like, share, whatever, whatever. So you have the next 8 minutes to close your show.
So I'm going to invite you to link up with me on social media by typing Bell Sanko Farm. So you could just type the hashtag Bell Sanko Farm, Bell as in the French word, Belle, Sanko Fa with an M at the end. And then you would find me whether on Facebook, on YouTube, or on Instagram. So those are the platforms that I am using at the moment.
Okay, so give us the names for these platforms. You mentioned YouTube, you mentioned Instagram, you mentioned. So what do they type in? Just the Bell Sankofa?
As
Sankofa.
long as you tell your hashtag Herbal Sango Farm, all of them will be listed. So you'll find the blog where we do a lot of empowerment for families, the health of a family. We speak about different aspects of imbalances, emotional wellness in the blog. On the page Sankofa Holistic Alternative, we speak about anything health related and the various products that people can use. When you hashtag Bell Sankofam, you will also find Bell Sankofam Herbals, which is the brand of herbal remedies that I develop.
Okay.
Uh, yeah, that's about what you will find, whether on Instagram or on Facebook.
All right, very good. Now I'm gonna plug in and tell people where they can actually view the videos for this program. The name of this program is Traditional Herbal Healing. We would be trying to stream on every Tuesday. You would be able to see videos on the IFA Orisha Traditional Discussion Group The video is also going to be posted on the IFA Orisha Institute of Sacred and Divine Sciences. It's going to be also posted on the Ifa Bemero home of Ifa Orisha tradition. It's also going to be posted on the Grassroots Education and Entertainment Network. It's going to also be posted on the Irie Island Research Group. It's going to be also posted on the Orisha Baptist Teaching Moments. It is also going to be posted on the IFA Orisha Community Congress. So we are on multiple platforms. What you have to do is like and share our video, and that's basically it. I'm not going to say goodbye yet. I'm going to let Ingrid McGregor do the close off. We have 5 more minutes. It's up to you to discuss whatever you like or to talk about your products or whatever have you.
Well, as we are closing a year as per Gregorian calendar, what I suggest to my loved ones, my customers, and people of my community is to end the year by cleansing the body, but also to cleanse your mind. So that could be as simple as, going and take a sea bath, sit by the sea and meditate. You could take it to another level by blending specific herbs. Some of you might be familiar with the lemon and the Florida water, and some may want something a little more green, a little greener. All right. So in my Creole path, we use the Bende Mahe. I have a grandmother from Guadeloupe, and this is what we have been using over the years.
No, 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 Iya. No, you say Bende Mahi. I don't know. I'm not
Bende
a
Mahe.
French speaker. What
So
is?
this is
Does it have a
Creole.
Latin name so that we could cross-reference it somehow and the Trinidadian people could have a chance to use this herb?
But the Bende Mare is like, I'm quite sure that this is also spoken about in Trinidad by those who speak Creole. The Mare is Creole and it means to unloose.
Okay.
To unloose.
Is there
So
a Latin name?
to be honest, I just stick to my Bende Mare. It
All
is
right, you
just,
use the traditional name. All
I
right,
just
so
use
for some
traditional path.
reason, I'm going to make a wild guess, right? But I
Mhm.
think that might be kojo root. The name I think is Petiveria alicia. That's the Latin name. But this is a traditional herb that has been used for cleansing and working miracles for generations. Normally, they use it on a Tuesday or a Thursday to take baths with. It has a slight odor, but it's a very effective herb in doing spiritual baths. So
It's
that's
even
just my little injection.
it's
Is on
warming
yeah, go ahead.
even.
Uh
The blend that I prepare contains more than one herb, but
okay,
definitely,
okay.
um, this plant we call it here garlic bush, okay, and it has a particular odor indeed. Okay, but because of the odor, then I have it blend with other herbs. So you will not be bothered by the scent, but you will get an effective cleansing. And it's a deep cleanse. So therefore, you don't just get a clean skin. You feel a whole lot better, a whole lot lighter afterwards. And because of the tradition, we know that we always want to get rid of, everything negative. I know that the Americans would say, just try to get rid of the clutter, throw all what you do not need. Here in St. Martin, we change curtains, we change everything, we paint over the walls, you dust stuff everywhere. And after you have done it for your house, you want to do it also for your temple, your body.
All right. So thank you, Ia, for having me on your show. Right. I have introduced you. I'll probably be on the next few editions and we would talk. And eventually you will have different guests coming onto your show. Remember, this is traditional herbal healing, and we would be up every Tuesday. And with that, I would like to say Oda Bo.
Never.
Okay, yeah. Thank you for your time. And people, remember to like and to share also. All right? Oda Bo.
Oh, never.